Chapter 2139 Joint Training. Zhang Yi was concentrating on improving his own strength, while in the outside world, the entire Huaxiu kingdom was mobilized. The Inhuman troops from all major regions gathered in Blizzard City, and it was extremely lively for a while. These powerful men, who are rarely seen in daily life, gathered together with lofty ideals in their hearts to achieve great achievements in the upcoming war. Zhang Yi gave full authority to Yang Xinxin to command the overall situation. Yang Xinxin was the military strategist, deploying troops based on all the intelligence she had about the Wulwan Empire. Now that she had awakened her special abilities, her brain had been developed even further, so much so that it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say she possessed the highest IQ in human history. A very crucial point is to use the ability of attribute restraint to arrange people to defeat the aliens of the Wulwan Empire one by one. Only in this way can the losses be minimized. Everyone, even Fatty Sue, who seemed the laziest on weekdays, actively participated in the training. Li Yongyang has now joined Zhang Yi's team. Her daily work is quite leisurely. Apart from helping Yang Xinxin sort out some documents, she also delivers meals to Fatty Sue. She is a good cook, and after arriving at the shelter, she was able to help with cooking. However, Zhou Qi rarely let Zhang Yi cook because Zhang Yi liked the food cooked by Yang Xia. After all, Zhang Yi was very careful about food, and they didn't completely treat Li Yongyang as their own, at least not like family members. Only Fatty Sue would eat the loving meals prepared by Li Yongyang every day. That night, the sky was dim. Li Yongyang prepared a large lunchbox of love meal as usual and walked to the training ground humming a song. Fatty Sue and Deng Shintong are partners. Their strength is relatively close, and both are at the threshold of the Black Chariot level, but no one knows when they can reach it. One has the ability to control the ice and snow, and the other has the light attribute. They are both relatively comprehensive aliens, and the combination of the two is pretty good. This combination was naturally arranged by Yang Xinxin. I'm not afraid of cockroaches, no. Li Yongyang walked forward humming a song happily, but suddenly, her eyes fixed on the shadow in the corner in front of her, and she said in a cold tone, "Come out." What a sharp intuition. You're still the same as before, not wasted. A slightly feminine voice came from the darkness, and then a middle-aged man walked out from the shadows. He was wearing a black combat uniform and holding a silver-white metal folding fan in his hand. It looks a bit weird to fan yourself in such a cold weather. When Li Yongyang saw him, her expression relaxed. Tianjixing? Why is it you? The person who came was not someone else, but her former colleague in Shengjing District, the Tianji Star among the 36 Tian Gang. Tianjixing chuckled. Of course I came here to see an old friend. It seems you've been hiding quite well. Li Yongyang's brows suddenly frowned. What do you mean? Tianjixing didn't say much, just raised his hand, and the folding fan in his hand, which was made of a special alloy as thin as a cicada's wing, opened with a swish. It's time to remember the past, Bluebird. The silver-white folding fan in his hand was emitting a hazy light and shadow, as if white butterflies were flying out from the fan, growing bigger and bigger in Li Yongyang's eyes. In my mind, it was as if a closed door was completely opened. A memory suddenly emerged in Li Yongyang's brain. She widened her eyes, and only then did she realize why she came to this place. Her infiltration this time was a plan from the Longming guards. The purpose is to let her get close to Zhang Yi and prevent Zhang Yi from doing anything that harms Huaxiu State. However, Zhang Yi has always been cautious, and he has Yang Xinxin as his think tank. It is extremely difficult for anyone to sneak in. However, this world has many magical powers that can create miracles. Star of Heaven Wu Liang, ability, Zhuangzhou's dream of the butterfly. He is an illusionist, but compared to creating illusions, Zhuangzhou Mingdia's ability can also seal people's memories. Therefore, Li Yongyang had long erased the entire undercover plan from her mind. No matter how Yang Xinxin tried, she would not reveal any flaws. Until now, Wu Liang removed her ability and allowed her to recover her memory. Li Yongyang took a deep breath, but her eyes became calm. If you know the cause and effect of the matter, you won't be too surprised. This space has been sealed off by time quixing, so there's no need to worry about anyone discovering our meeting. Now, tell me what you've discovered around Hundun recently. Wu Liang asked with a smile. Not long after, Li Yongyang opened her eyes, still holding the lunch box in her hand, and walked towards the training ground. She didn't notice anything wrong. She just smiled happily and hurried to find Fatty Sue. Because this memory of hers was once again intercepted by Wu Liang and kept in his Tianji fan. This is a perfect infiltration plan, isn't it? The two returned to the Long Mingwei garrison base through the ability of Time Quixing Song Ming. This time, Shang Daowen led the team personally. The two told Shang Daowen the information they got from Li Yongyang. After Shang Daowen listened carefully, he couldn't help but gasp. Chaos is such a daredevil. He even dares to go to a place like that? He clearly said he was a steady person. When did he start liking adventure? He touched his chin, not sure what happened in the meantime. Wu Liang said, "That's all Bluebird knows. After all, she hasn't yet entered the core of the Chaos team, so those people can't tell her everything without reservation." Shang Daowen nodded slightly. "Don't worry. Bluebird's undercover plan is very important to us. Don't contact her easily unless it's an emergency." On the training ground, Fatty Sue and Deng Shintong practiced together. The difference between the two's ability index is not big, and Fatty Sue's ability index is even 1,000 points higher than Deng Shintong's. But when the battle really came, he was no match for Deng Shintong. Because although Fatty Sue is very good at controlling the game, he also has great weaknesses in one-on-one fights. For example, in terms of martial arts and spearmanship, he is not as good as Deng Shintong, who was taught by a famous teacher since childhood. However, the two of them had experienced many battles, big and small, and were very familiar with each other's abilities, so it was not too difficult for them to cooperate. The so-called combined attack technique is when two people can produce an effect of 1 + 1 greater than 2. For example, the Sun and Moon Angels of the Knights Templar have brought the combined attack technique to its peak. Chapter 2140, If This Is Not Love. In the training ground, ice and snow roared, and holy light enveloped everything under the dome. Deng Shintong's light can cover any area in the indoor training ground without any blind spots, and can even bypass obstructions, because this is a manifestation of Deng Shintong's willpower. Light is a very useful ability against lizard men. Although his ability index is only 17,000 points, due to the attribute restraint, he can exert the oppressive force of the Black Chariot level when fighting against the lizard men. Ultraviolet rays are still in existence that the Wulwan people are very uncomfortable with. Deng Shintong is also a very important part of Zhang Yi's attack plan. He firmly believed that even after the last failure, the Wulwan Empire would find a way to develop armor to deal with sunlight and other ultraviolet rays. But what if the war took place on the homeland of the Ulyan Empire? Not all of the 27 million people in the Wulwan Empire have advanced anti-ultraviolet weapons. By then, Deng Shintong will become the nightmare of most people in the Wulwan Empire. The training of the two people's joint attack technique focuses on the coordination of abilities. Fatty Sue's ice and snow can shape huge icicles and mirrors to refract and reflect Deng Shintong's light. Deng Shintong used the deprivation of the enemy's senses to provide Fatty Sue with a good opportunity to launch an ice and snow blizzard attack. After training, the two of them cooperated with each other more and more tacitly. For example, when Deng Shintong needs it, Fatty Sue can form a huge icicle at a specific angle in the shortest time. Concave or convex mirrors, size, and angle all meet Deng Shintong's requirements as their tacit understanding improves. Inhumans of the Ypsilon level are still extremely rare in various regions. In the past, such combined training was even rarer. But after experiencing it personally this time, Deng Shintong realized how terrifying the combined attack technique was. The simplest way to put it is that when dry wood meets sparks, it can turn into a raging flame. Marshal Tianpa, let's stop and rest for a while. Deng Shintong wiped the sweat from his forehead and said to Fatty Sue with a smile. Fatty Sue was already sweating profusely at this time. Although he trained with Uncle Yu every day, his body shape had not decreased much, and his weight was even increasing. This once made Fatty Sue despair. However, Uncle Yu is quite satisfied with Fatty Sue's current condition. He looked at Fatty Sue's muscular figure and commented with satisfaction, "This is the most suitable physique for fighting." Uncle Yu had no intention of turning Fatty Sue into a bodybuilder. Those dead muscles only looked good, but they would be brittle in a real fight. Fat Sue looks fat now, but his body fat percentage is very low. To be precise, he is strong. Okay, Mr. Deng. Fatty Sue walked to the sidelines, picked up a towel, and wiped the sweat off his face. Master Deng, do you think we can handle that opponent at our current pace? Fatty Sue took a sip of water and looked at Deng Shintong with some concern. Their combination has a clear mission objective, and the purpose of practicing the combined attack technique is also to deal with that person. Deng Shintong simply smiled faintly. I trust Miss Yang's arrangements. However, things on the battlefield are always changing rapidly. Since we have to fight, we must be prepared to make sacrifices. He stroked his hair with his hand and smiled brightly. Although we cannot ignore life and death, we should not be too afraid of death. Otherwise, how can people grow? I wish I were as cool as you. Fatty Sue sighed deeply. There are some things I want to do, but can't do. As the two were talking, they suddenly heard the soft and pleasant shouts of two women outside. Dinner is ready. The two looked back and found that Li Yangyang and Amber were both carrying lunch boxes. They didn't just arrive, but the two were still training before, so they didn't disturb them. Deng Shintong smiled slightly, changed into a set of dry clothes, and walked over. Fatty Sue also smiled foolishly and trotted to Li Yangyang's side. Several people sat down in the restaurant, and delicious food was placed in front of them. Fatty Sue ate the food Li Yangyang prepared for him in big mouthfuls, his fat face full of happiness. Yangyang, the food you cook is so delicious. Li Yangyang's eyes curved into crescents as she smiled. If you like it, I'll make it for you every day. Deng Shintong paused slightly with the chopsticks in his hand, looked up at Fatty Sue, who was just eating with big mouthfuls and nodding constantly, and couldn't help but shook his head slightly. He looked at Li Yangyang and asked casually, "Recently, many strangers from Shengjing have come to Blizzard City. Haven't you gone to take a look?" Li Yangyang still smiled. Not really. After all, it wouldn't be very convenient for me to go look for them now, right? She said it so frankly that it made it difficult for Deng Shintong to continue. After finishing dinner, Fatty Sue said goodbye to Deng Shintong. I need to rest after eating. Let's train again in a few hours. See you in 2 hours then. Deng Shintong glanced at the time and felt that 2 hours was enough for Fatty Sue. Yeah, okay. Fatty Sue took Li Yangyang's hand, and the two left the training ground. Deng Shintong and Amber stood side by side, watching the two men leave, with a special light in their eyes. Deng Shintong touched his chin and asked, Amber, do you think this is love? If this isn't love, then what else is there to look forward to? It's just that I think the relationship between these two people is a little strange. Deng Shintong said with a smile. Amber looked at Deng Shintong with eyes full of admiration and tenderness. She put her arms around Deng Shintong's shoulders and gently leaned her head on his shoulder. It's hard for you to understand the love of ordinary people. Deng Shintong smiled and didn't take it seriously. In his 30s, he has experienced many kinds of women. Until today, his only wish is to become stronger and achieve success. The southern waters of Huashu Kingdom. The invasion of the Wulwan Empire was temporarily stopped. In order to ensure safety, the East China Sea region took the risk of sending some ships to cruise in the nearby waters. That night, a destroyer braved the bitter cold wind and arrived at the edge of the southern waters to conduct patrol as usual. In extraordinary times, they must confirm whether the Wulwan Empire or other unknown powerful creatures appear in the territory of Huashu Kingdom. This is a risk to their lives. Once any accident occurs to them, even if they die, the signal will be sent to the East China Sea region immediately. In this way, the entire Huashu Kingdom will know that danger has emerged. The origin was floating on the waves. The wind was very strong tonight, and the cold sea water splashed onto the deck. It was more frightening than when a storm came. After all, it was a moonless night, and they could only rely on searchlights to get a ray of light. Staying with me. We'll try to get you more updates. Please like and subscribe and share the video with your friends. Love you all.